Zaggle is joining in to discuss the road ahead. Avinash, thank you for joining in. You had earlier mentioned that 35 to 40% this year is a conservative growth guidance, and if all acquisitions fall into place, you might even go up to 80%. What is the status of those acquisitions currently, and why are you still sticking to that 35 to 40%? And if those acquisitions fall into place, where do you see growth going into?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I think, yes, we are delighted with our quarterly performance. We are sticking to our guidance for now of 35 to 40%. We are actually tempted, as we spoke on the analyst call, to up it, but we'd probably, have a relook in Q2, end of Q2. This is the organic growth. The inorganic piece, of course, as these acquisitions fall in place, they will definitely add a lot of heft to our momentum, and many of them are progressing very well, and some larger ones are in the pipeline that we'll announce in the coming months.
Avinash, I just wanted to actually ask you on the inorganic growth as well. 31.5% in Q1. Was it entirely organic? And when we talk about acquisitions, what do you have in your pipeline in the first half? What kind of spends will you look at? And in FY26 itself, will you see major acquisitions come by?
Yes, so lots of questions, but I'll try and answer one by one. Yes, 31.5 was all organic. The inorganic contribution was not there in this. We see some of the large ones closing this year. Yes, so the whole idea is to do a couple of more acquisitions on the larger side, and then consolidate for the coming years. So that's the thesis that we are operating on.
What about your recently acquired projects, Avinash? TaxSpanner is one of them. TransXT is the other one. You recently acquired them. They might be a smaller part of your business currently, but how do you see them scaling up for the rest of the year?
Yeah, so 86400, which is the TransXT, is the brand. 86400 is another brand under the company Mobileware. They're doing extremely well. They exceeded the last year profits in Q1 already. Last year revenues, they have already done half of that in Q1, so they're doing brilliantly. TaxSpanner is doing extremely well as well. They've got great contracts with companies like Bosch, and they already serve companies like HCL and Accenture. Of course, the tax filing has got pushed back by the government to September. So a lot of their revenue momentum should kick in Q2, which we are anticipating. We're also very bullish about a very strategic acquisition that we are doing with Rio Money. That's going to be something which is going to become extremely large in the coming years with our B2B2C play. Our ability to be able to source users at a very low cost, and to be able to drive those users to ride on the UPI and credit on UPI wave, right? And credit cards on UPI. So that's a very secular, strong trend that you see, that UPI is ubiquitous, and we are riding on that wave. So that's the other piece. In general, on acquisitions, our theory is what we call as the pearl of strings theory. We are basically string of pearls theory, rather. We're trying to get an entry into a lot of very interesting plays at very tempting valuations, much lower than the private investments that happen through private equity.
So,
Avinash, venture capital, and we leverage that to grow fast.
Yeah. So, Avinash, when inorganic growth will also pick up in the coming quarters, can you first talk about how much will you be spending on these acquisitions? And secondly, with these acquisitions come by, what happens to overall costs as well? There'll be some adjustments you'll be making. Costs would go higher as well. What happens to margins then?
So, look, one of the things that we did was we raised 593 crores in a QIP last December. The purpose of that was acquisitions, very clearly. And a large part of that money, about 565, 570 crores, is still in the bank, right? So a lot of these acquisitions are stock plus cash. So we are sitting with a very large, quantum of capital to be able to deploy. The cost, most of these acquisitions are either profitable, or their losses that we have on their P&L is very small. A lot of them, for example, Dice and others would be able to help us save about 25 crores in costs. And that's what we spoke of in the call as well. Just in terms of synergies that kick in, and these are initial estimates, we have not gotten deeper. And in the coming years, the overall cost savings would be even higher.
Okay, all right. So we'll talk about that in greater detail once those acquisitions kick in and we see results coming into your P&L as well. Avinash, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining in today and giving us those updates about the company's outlook going forward as well. That's Zaggle Prepaid. The stock is up 9% on the back of good numbers.